Welcome back to our second video covering Gdevelops Big Jam 6. Leading in, we're just going to cover a few comments we got on Joust. So the graphics were original. Myself and VertigoX worked on those. As identified by Level Up with Alex, VertigoX was very true to the original. I think he referred to them in the sprites, and that's why it probably had more of a feel for it, but they were also custom at the same time, whereas I did the castle piece by piece. Some of the gameplay mechanics that came up there was like the building of the castle. I should have explained that clearer, so I kind of tried to do a write-up, and I've learnt to do that in game jams on the game page, because often you're like, what the hell's going on? And I've learned that's a good way of communicating. Obviously, in the jam, I've seen many better examples of this. But the idea is to collect coins, not get knocked off, otherwise you lose your coins, go back to your castle, and it slowly builds. First one to build wins. If you don't build in time, the beast is born and hatches from its egg. So once again, I've got VertigoX here with me. I'm Rico TV. That's about it. So we can get in and play some of your games now. And hopefully you enjoy it. Thank you so much for everyone checking out the video and the few that subscribed and commented and gave thumbs up. Much appreciated. Without further ado, here we go.
Alright, we're just going to check out some more of the games from the jam.
So Powerline Guardians was the first one we decided to play. I had played this before one player, and I'd commented, hey look, I didn't get the full experience, and it was a pretty solid game. I'll let VertigoX give a little bit of feedback around his experience.
Yeah, I really like this one, pretty much within like less than a minute of playing it. I like this character select screen, like the choice that you could play as, so I chose Defender. It's interesting.
I did mechanics. Yeah, I couldn't really communicate with VertigoX that I was trying to repair the lines, and maybe he could have watched my back.
I did heal him several times.
That was a cool feature, because when I died, I was like, man, you guys should have programmed this. And then, lo and behold, I was healed, and I was very impressed.
It was even like zombies, where you can heal the character on the floor with thing. So straight away, with the enemies, this reminded me of the David Bowie song "Spiders of Mars," which was pretty cool. So I don't know whether the creator knows about that Bowie song or whatever, but it's pretty cool. Like the enemies, you had several different types. So it starts off with the smaller spiders, which I didn't know about the ones that come along later, but it was pretty good. The difficulty at this stage wasn't as hard.
I didn't even know where he was.
It wasn't as hard. I was down on one side of the map fixing the thing, and I was taking out lots and lots of spiders, so the bodies were all stacking up. It was pretty cool. So yeah, the playability of this game, it wasn't too difficult, but obviously
they didn't succeed.
They damaged different parts of the line on the thing. It was very clever. It would be interesting to see 4 players going at it. I imagine that it spawns more creatures perhaps when you go 4 players. So this was a very neat game. As RTV said, we didn't survive. I perhaps could have survived a bit longer, but I think he went down. And then I think was it the secondary spiders that can fire the acid at you?
Yeah, I got a spitter got me.
Yeah,
it was whatever it was.
I didn't know what was happening, but it was like hitting the floor like a little bit away from me, but it killed me in the end. So that's what took me out. I didn't know the RTV was down, but yeah, this was a really good game. So
yeah, I was very impressed. Like the 3Ds and the way it ran too. Look how smooth the camera is and the player movement.
Yeah.
I was very impressed with the general feel and how it was put together. A few things I noticed was the camera, when you're down, could follow the other player. That's something that a lot of us trying out this new multiplayer feature.
The mini-map might have been cool, so you can see how it goes. The lines being damaged, it would be good.
Or where the other player is.
If it showed you on the map, like of the thing, if it showed you like in red, like where it was getting damaged. Maybe that's given away a little bit too much. So there you go. That's one of the times our TV went down. So I came over and healed.
I fixed a lot of pipe.
Healed them. But yeah, those damn spiders, eh? But at least the original ones didn't take as many hits as other ones. So yeah.
I let this gameplay carry on a while just because like this was such a good experience, and hopefully seeing this, I did speed it up. And a lot of times we find with these games that you could speed them up to 1.5 speed, double speed. and the experience is improved or the same, which I find a lot with my games. Like I get recommended all the time, hey, try doubling the speed. And to be honest with you, a lot of the times that functions really well and the game still plays as intended.
So just to go over a couple more things to maybe take away from the game, like we've been over the positives. Some negatives, like maybe besides the mini map I mentioned, it would be pretty cool to have like a story at the start. I know there was something on the game page that talked about what was happening, but it would be cool to have maybe just a text intro if you didn't want to do like animation, like 3D animation or art. So that would be cool. But as I mentioned, I really like the whole Spiders from Mars thing, and this game was like a really well done, nice package, like what you managed to make in the time that you had.
I'm glad I got to experience a multiplayer version because one player, you didn't get that full feel. There isn't more to the UI, even though I've zoomed my screen in for these plays. There's not really a round or a power generated for the level. Obviously, if it was built out, that's something that would add to it, like a lot of times, like a really easy level for a learner, and then, the people that like more challenge can persevere with it and experience some harder rounds, needing to gather more resources or survive for longer or have harsher enemies.
To finish anyway on this one, before we go into the Barbarians game, really well done game overall, I must say. So I don't know how many people made this, but it was really impressive. And I think, 4 players would just be cool, like, to see. So, like, 2 players, as RTV says, was quite neat compared to single player, but I imagine with 4 players going at it, it would be pretty neat.
Alright, we'll head on to Barbarians. I'll skip ahead a little. Oh, actually, we had a different one before. What have we got? So that must just be finishing up. The warp drive is offline.
Alright, so different order. We'll go on about Barbarians after this. So this one was an interesting concept. I think RTV, I defeated him twice, and I have an inkling that the reason he was defeated is he didn't know about the repairing your ship, perhaps.
Oh yeah, I didn't know anything about repairing your ship.
So I gave away that little clue there. So he, I think that's why I defeated him, because
I probably didn't know much about
every time we shot at each other. Well, I think he knew as much as me about the arrows, but I think he didn't click up the top right, which is off the screen, but it says repair ship and before you ended your turn thing. So that's how I think I had the advantage over him. So this game has a bit of a battleships kind of grid kind of feeling to it. It was interesting concept. I think obviously I don't know what RTV thinks about it, but it had a few problems with.
Yeah, I thought it had a really good menu system, and going into it had good sound going in, and I got quite excited. Then it came up with this movement and selecting the card grid, which kind of had a board game feel. It probably could have been better kind of let in, so maybe like a running tutorial like for how to play it. Because we never made it to the energy.
The movement actually reminds me a bit of your, just to throw one of our games out there, Numbered Days, actually, similar kind of.
Well, they're meant to be cards, and then my Numbered Days was a dice game.
Yeah.
I thought it
reminds me
quite nicely laid out, and I just wasn't all clear. Like purge slot 1, 2, 3, and 4, didn't really understand. Eventually, I found I could bank my energy.
So that's how I had the advantage over him, though, 2 times.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to steal.
I got defeated.
I'm not going to steal the wins there, like, unfairly, but I had a feel once. So this one, I think, is Barbarians, is it?
Let's find out. It's Dogbarians.
Yeah. That wasn't one of us, by the way. So the game's just loading up. So yes, it was Barbarians. This one
cool,
was,
feel.
the music was an interesting choice, but it was very easy listening, kind of. What I would have liked with this game is the whole world would have been really cool with the full player limit in there. Because, as RTV was saying, he really wanted to shoot me with a bow. Well, guess what? I wanted to shoot him too.
I never found him.
He was going around fishing, and I was going around chopping down trees and and stuff like that. So he never found me on the map. I was hoping to bump into him, but I imagine because there was no mini-map, and that would give away a little bit where the players are on the map. Perhaps it would be good if it just gave you an inkling at different times if they picked up a certain thing or did a certain thing.
Or a map of the islands.
It would give a glimmer. Yeah, a map of the islands. But this was really simplistic graphics, but surprisingly it worked.
I think it's an example of good simplicity. Like even the colors, I was kind of
and sound effects. You did really well with the sound effects. I think the chopping down the trees, but also the when you're in the ocean, like the noise. I noticed was quite cool.
Really nice.
Yeah. So this, as you said, it's a minimalist kind of feel, but as we say often, the simplest games are often the best games. So
I sped up the footage a bit, like you'll see it jumps ahead because I just did loads of exploring. Once I exhausted my island and fixed up things,
we played it for a while.
I ran out of trees and I'm like, where the hell is some islands or something? And you'll see that I go out to sea looking. I eventually find out to fish because when I stopped moving, I saw something flash up the top. Because when I'm holding down the move keys, I can't
whereas
see
I
that.
kept moving. Honestly, I was eventually going to starve. I think I had 4 food left, so I was only halfway to starving. But I was like, man, I really need to bump into. Or I thought if I could go back to my island, it had these areas that he has, like water, and I think one of them was food. I don't know. I don't know what my water was down to.
The timer counted down, and then you get the water that's there. And the food.
But see, that's probably how I could have gone back to get food besides the fishing, if I actually mapped out where my island. But I went off diagonally, and I thought I could get.
He said he had success finding other islands. Like I found none. I just
so we were playing it for a while, like longer than the footage shows, but because we never found each other. But I did notice, when you go into the lobby, how it said 8. Or whatever, like I was like, that would be pretty cool. Admittedly, there would be a few players who would probably be missing each other in the water, but you'd obviously with 8 players, I think you'd probably stand a chance of bumping into at least a couple.
Yeah, I kind of monkeyed around on the island for a bit, but then I totally did the sea. Here we go.
So,
and then I went for ages, and it had good sound. It had a nice feel.
He went so long that
I was like, where the hell is this island?
He went so long that he ended up like Jim Carrey in the Truman Show. Apparently, he found the edge of the map, but he couldn't exit out the stairs. So
I tried it several times. Yeah, I did find the edge at one stage, but then that's the bit that really got me because I was just like, where the hell is the enemy? What's the use of my bow? So respawning more trees on the island would have been good. Seems I was stuck on my island. You can see I tried all the different directions a little bit. Maybe I needed to go a little further.
Yeah.
This one I kept on going, and then I hit the edge, and then that's when I figured out how to fish. But watch this, when I fish,
there you go.
It literally, the fishing screen, it doesn't have any timer or cooldown. I had no idea. I was like, has this crashed? You'll see my mouse moving around. I think I went out to the main screen and then eventually it went back. It confused me. Yeah, there we go. It confused me a lot. So with this screen, if you do continue working on the game, put a timer on it so you know how long you're in that fishing screen, or maybe a little icon of a fish.
So just before the footage ends, a few things that could have made this game better was obviously a mini-map. I think a story blurb at the start would have been pretty cool, but I think you captured, there's not too many
great
negatives.
UI, great feel, great deal with the style, like I think it did it really well.
Yeah, it's just that if you were playing with only 2 players, there needed to be a way to give a rough hint where the other player is, like maybe just when they pick up a certain thing, like
for me, I'd be fine if I found an island, but then the fact I couldn't shoot him, maybe an animal to shoot with your bow or something, or like a generic enemy like a tiger or something would be cool.
Yeah, and the soundtrack was an interesting choice, obviously, because it's with the title Barbarians, it's meant to kind of be, but it kind of worked with it. It was kind of nice, like kind of feel. So as I was saying, it's very well done game.
I think I closed out on the fishing. How poignant.
Yeah, well, the other time it takes quite a long time to fish, doesn't it? So yeah, well done.
Sped up
well done with that game. I don't know how many of you worked on it, but
I thought, yeah, really cool.
Impressive.
You won the game. Is that because you left?
Well, you might have told me to, but I thought you left first.
No, I had to win.
Alright, so this next one is, from memory, I can't remember what this one was called. It had quite... Yeah.
Hyperdrive.
No. We probably will just have a look what it was, so we can talk about this one.
Hyperfixing.
Yeah. Hyperfixer. So this one was quite neat. We just played the game that was similar to it though before, which I'd say possibly did it slightly better. Was the Spiders from Mars
power
game?
line, yeah.
Once again, I've got the name, but that's cool enough name to give it. It was a good game. This one was a similar concept. I think it had like these
great intro.
energy eaten worms. I think they were.
No, metal eating worms.
Metal eaten worms.
They were after the ship, but not a threat to humans.
Yeah. So this game was pretty cool. Like once again, it was quite hard to go off unless one player was the defender. Like I saw our ship got attacked quite a lot when I went off to try and finish it because I was like, right, we need 11 crystals. Let's just get this done. Straight away, the thing I noticed is any retro people, if they know the cartoon Mask, I like the characters look like Miles Mayhem out of the evil guy.
I like that you could rotate your top of your body and the legs.
They have cool armor.
I've tried building that system before and not as well. Good job on that.
The little world was quite cool. Like the map that you're on, it was cool. I went up to like an alien village on the left up into the rocks.
You found the alien village?
Yeah,
I didn't.
up and that's where I got all the rest of the crystals. This game I just say was slightly beaten by the game that we played before, but it was quite solid. Like it had really cool, neat graphics.
It had a little bit of UI that I've cut off there, which kind of showed the ship's health, and that was actually displayed really nicely. So a lot of things about it were done very nicely or well presented and clear.
Yeah, the shoot-in was a little bit gammy with the, like, when you shoot, like, so the shoot-in, like, kind of program, I guess, maybe could be tightened up a bit. As RTV said, the intro was pretty cool, like, the design of the ship looks really neat. Negatives besides what I mentioned, perhaps, like, a little map of the alien world as you uncover it. Like, kind of like in Warcraft, how you had the fog of war. Like, maybe, like, it exposes so you know where the things are on the map. That would be pretty cool. But, not such a bad little game. Also, the difficulty level was nice for, like,
Probably
not too difficult.
You could have had sound cues for a distance of the crystal, so that you know you're on the right track to it. So it could have, like, a hum that kicks in when you're, say, 800 pixels away. And then, like, that would give you a bit more clue, because there was enough crystals where it wasn't impossible. Like, I came back with enough crystals to fix it. But if there was a limited amount of crystals, you need a bit of guidance. And so that might have been a feature.
That was pretty cool. We managed to... We clocked a couple of the games, actually.
It's an example of a good jam game, the length of it. So, good job with that.
Like, the Ghost one later on was good. That was when she picked it up. So, the difficulty level... was not too... because that could sometimes put you off a game if it's too difficult.
This one had a cool, like, intro and stuff, and looked really good. It didn't end up working for us. We did 2 attempts of it. I want to try it out because, like, looking at the game and what was there was no title screen on GD Games, and so that puts people off playing. I don't know if it was on itch.io it had one, but that was a missed opportunity that sometimes when you're getting these things in at the last minute doesn't get done.
It was quite...
I was excited to try this one.
It was quite laggy and low than, like, what was pixel art graphics. If the graphics was original, like, the sprites looked pretty cool, like, if they weren't AI or a sprite pack, well done with what I did see, the art. But it was, quite a glitchy game. Obviously, I think
it was over straight away. We're like, we're useless. We'll try again. And then I actually hit the creature that time, but like, it either killed us or it's a bug. Like in like 5 seconds.
Defend the Keep. That's the one that was missing the title art, which RTV likes to play the games that don't have a screenshot.
Yeah, I like to give them a chance. There's some hidden gems there. There's a few that don't work, which is to be expected. That's not a priority when you're trying to get everything in there at the last minute. So I like to give them a go because I know they're ones that get overlooked a lot.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Yeah, see, I hit this guy a lot, so I'm like, yeah, we're winning, we're doing stuff. Maybe we should have been fixing the keep. I guess if there was that, because the instructions did indicate that, we need to have a better indication of what's going on. Because honestly, didn't have a bloody clue.
Yeah. So, this one was... I can't remember whether this one
It
worked
didn't
or
work.
Not. No. Or War. It sounded kind of cool.
Brew War.
Was it Brew War? I thought it was War.
B-R-E-W.
Okay, I read that wrong when I saw it on the game. I thought it was talking about the...
Oh, it could be Bruja. But, like, it had a cool character select thing. This one, the timers, like, they kept on going regardless of where you clicked. Probably it needs a, like, select button.
I was straight away drawn to the monkey guy, like the fourth player.
I thought so. I like the silver guy.
You like the silver guy?
I did click on the monkey guy.
Yeah, the monkey looked pretty cool, like the colours. It's like a mandrill or something like that. Or at least the colours are.
This is when I first thought there might be something up, because the 4 characters all being the same.
Yeah, it was like a slot machine or something.
And then you couldn't lock in your player.
But I will say cool like
they were
characters. Like selection, if that had been a character select screen.
And they're kind of really cool how they're static, but they've got a lot of life to them. So yeah, we got this weird counter thing. I noticed when I moved the buttons at one stage, the number stopped counting, and then I pushed the up arrow.
I let it go up to like...
And it went again, but like I have no idea, but like I think it's fair to assume it was broken.
So Bruja or All War, whatever you were called, like if we apologies, your game unfortunately is a bit busted, but
it looked like it had the potential to have some good art. Yeah,
the art was pretty cool. I like the picture, like that's kind of what drew my eye to it. So we'll move on from that one to
I think this one was a bit of an odd experience too, from memory. Space Frontier fixes.
I like the ideas in this though, but the movement, I got the...
It had a cool scoreboard
I found out in the end that the movement was more like something akin to Command and Conquer or like Dune, and it was actually mouse, like you click, but it was very... not programmed very well, but I thought at first like it was different, and I think in the end I worked out that you click and they go. It was kind of like
you had to click lots.
It was like those click and go games, but not click and go like the adventure ones, like the classic Command.
Even the startup bit confused me. There's all the things are counting down. I'm clicking the stop to fix, and then it's like
that was like the gummy bears part and like Kingdom Hearts. I didn't like that part so much, but I like this part. It was just a little bit broken, but it has I like your little selection down there.
Yeah, that was
RTV
cool.
worked it out quicker than me, that would change your vehicle, but that's very Minecraft.
Well, the digger did stuff, like the digger actually dug up those rocks.
I was carrying stuff for ages because I didn't know I could change, so I was, it's gone off the screen anyway, and he will be. I think we meet up later on, but you might have edited it out, but I liked certain things about this game, just the movement unfortunately let it down. The different choices of the vehicles, and if you could actually do what you were doing, like I was picking up wood and stuff, if it actually worked and you could move around quite easily, so I roughly can see what you were trying to get at, but the movement unfortunately really let down the game, and perhaps a story or more explanation would have helped. But,
I appreciated the idea that all the vehicles are different.
And I quite like some of the art as well.
To be honest, for the most part, it didn't feel like it worked that well. Those variations, like if they all went the same speed but had a slightly different power, I think, and the movement was smoother, I think that would probably be better ultimately, as far as how it feels. But I think it fell down on game feel. Alright, so next up, the Fixers Guild.
Took a while to come into the... Oh no, there we go. So this one, I just vaguely see whether I can...
we played this for a long time.
Yeah, this one was very cool. Like, I don't know RTV's opinion on it, but once I got the hang of it, it was quite addictive. I don't know what... The whole mini-map kind of reminded me... I liked... it reminded me of like Super Mario. I think it was Super Mario 3 or something, like the little world screen where you can travel to the different things. So I quite like that feel of it. It was very Nintendo-ish.
It did have the feel, and it led in very nicely. It was very cohesive. The map did scroll around, and I found that jittered a little, like jumped around when I tried to go. You'll see a lot of it when I'm moving. And because the map's only a touch over the size of the screen, perhaps if it was a tiny bit smaller or just two screens where you could click in between them, it might have functioned better in that regard. I found with our game it jumped around a lot in the multiplayer sense, so I totally get it could be something to do with that. Graphically, it was very cool.
Yeah, I said it reminded me of, I guess
Mario.
also, like, yeah, Mario more than Link, but like it
Has got a Link feel, yeah.
as that it probably was the fantasy element. But yeah, it was quite neat. The thing that I think RTV perhaps wanted to see it more was actually like the quest doing the actual, rather than just being like a world view game, like going down on the boots like level and like seeing what's going on. I don't mind the gameplay it had. I think it needed a little bit more variety, but as I was saying, I was kind of getting addicted to it. Like once I worked out like acquiring the people to do the different quests and jobs that it had. So yeah, it did have.
Did you read and understand, or was it like telling you didn't have the right units?
Yeah, no, I read once because I bought the wrong thing at the start, and when you buy the beds like to fill up your ranks and you don't even have them in yet, like so I wasted my money at the start. But once I worked it out, the game went quite well. So the good points are like kind of what we've been over. The bad points, I think RTV mentioned with the world map or whatever that he wasn't. What was another thing that you didn't really like about it?
Well, I found like the quests when I read them were interesting, but then because I did multiple quests at the same time when I had lots of men, it didn't really explain that you didn't have enough. As I said, you need one wizard and two engineers, and I had more, but because I had another job on the go, they weren't available, as I think what happened. And I don't think the game, although it's showing you the data all the time, could have probably conveyed that better. Maybe you could have had your units down the bottom, like the different units, and the number you have available to do a job. So you can refer to that really quickly by looking, and then when you don't meet the quest requirements, they could be kind of read it out or something. Would have been something that would have improved it.
So yeah, we probably got lots of footage for this because we played it for a long time. So we'll probably cut out at some point soon and just end
I'll
with,
speed it up.
And we'll just end with it was quite a neat like game. What was there? It just could have done with some more in some areas, but. The presentation was very nice. Perhaps instructions more. I quite liked the text intro. You maybe could have had some art as well. But
I thought it was clever, like
it was quite polished.
how the didn't have lots of movement and dynamic stuff, but I think it was very well portrayed. One other thing I felt that was lacking is when you're playing your competitive multiplayer mode, there wasn't really any guidance other than seeing the other player in the forest or by the castle. You didn't really know exactly where you're at against them or what's going on, so maybe it could have had some bars for like how many quests you've done or something, where there's a bit of encouragement for competitiveness and you can kind of see more of what's going on. It did pop up saying VertigoX completed a quest, but there wasn't much beyond that for the multiplayer, although it's always fun to see someone else in there in that environment.
Yeah, but anyway, to end on the point, because it was, yeah, you definitely got the addictive factor for me, so well done there. Yeah, we'll end it there, but good entry into the jam. Well done.
Yeah. I'll let it play out, so I'm going to cut it down, but I just wanted to show how far we progressed, because we stuck at it for a while. It did take me a little while to soak it in, and we could have kept on going. Again, I don't know if there was an end state, so that's something that wasn't clear either, but it was fun, hence all the play. Alright, so next up we've got this ghost one.
Ghostly Fix. So this one had a nice feel to it. It was kind of like a Snow Bros, like one screen kind of game, like Rainbow's Island or something like that.
Yeah, it had that look.
So the difficulty wasn't too bad because the ghosts, you seem to be able to take lots of hits from them, and at first RTV was better at jumping around than me, but I don't think he knew about the
I was
switching
just
on
torching them.
the whole point of passing the levels was switching on the lights.
What?
So
Were they lights or windows?
I'm pretty sure it's turned on the lights, it said. Once you do that, that's how you could complete the different levels. So
yeah, I had no idea. I should have read it. I read about repairing, but it wasn't 100% clear to me. And I was like, oh, I gotta get these with my torch. And I wondered if different ghosts needed different things to stop them. It seems that the torch did work on all of them except for the black ghost.
yeah, so I think the only negatives of this game were like the difficulty. I think it should have been a bit meaner with the ghosts, like that you should have not be able to take as many hits as we did. So I can see like you had different types, sort of like in Pac-Man, like the different colors that do different things. Perhaps one of them, if you got hit by like a certain type, it would just like kill you in one hit. And then the other ones, obviously, like the next rarest one would be like several hits and then things. So I think the difficulty level could have gone up a little bit for it. But yeah, for what you did make, like quite nice. Like obviously the simplicity of the levels, the design and stuff like that. And I don't know how many levels it was, whether it was like 8 or something. That I think
maybe.
Did, but yeah, difficulty level wasn't too bad. So I just think that it could have gone up a little notch to make the make it a little bit harder to complete the game. Obviously, just certain enemies that you need to avoid.
I can't believe I finally figured out the windows here. It took me a long time. It seems like the windows are, or the lights are on a layer in front, which obviously is like something to figure out and fine tune. That maybe was intentional, maybe not. I thought they were windows, so they probably should have been behind the character. But yeah, now that I figured out, you can see that I kind of actually assist with the level a bit more. And it wasn't so, yeah, got things moving along. All in all, it was fun and drove us through it. There was a score. Again, I wasn't 100% clear exactly how that worked, but really appreciate all the stuff in it.
I liked your little intro and stuff like that, and yeah, well done with the game.
Alright, this is a Steambot.
Okay, this one was not too bad, like the concept of it. I didn't quite fully get what was going on. The fix broken factories, there you go. So I have a feeling it was releasing like certain guys that were on your side and they were like side and they were combating the other ones. But the trouble is each extra enemy that got created or ones that were on your side, like the game got more and more laggy, so and it shouldn't have done because the graphics are quite simple, but I think it's something to do with the programming that like when it has that many players on the screen. I imagine it's the same problem with those early games like Warcraft or Dune would have had if they didn't have like an enemy kind of or a unit limit. But also I think it's a programming thing because other games like make it work. But this really slowed down. So I was going around and fixing a lot of the factories. That's why I'm nowhere near RTV. He was obviously looked like he was doing it too, but it got to the point where there were just like so many.
Yeah, I was trying to zombie train them, but then I couldn't do anything about them, and I didn't have any gun turret ones to deal with them. I found that I could fix these beams, but they only lasted so long. If I held one, the enemies couldn't come through. But then there was none of my troops to fight them, and I had those factories there.
Interesting concept though, like you went all out with your little design and idea. I don't fully get what was going on, but just that lagginess unfortunately brought it down. So well done with this game anyway for what you did create. Just something to work on there for the next one is the.
Yeah, it definitely has some cool elements to it, and gave it a fairly good go. Alright, the last one we've got is using the fun Stay Alive SWAT Farm. And this one's obviously built off the templates for the first-person shooter that I'm aware of. And when I went in, I thought maybe that was the experience. Stream here.
Arcade mode. Game over.
That are in the templates where the bullets you have to go pick them up, so you only get like the 6 bullets on the top of the screen. And so well,
Kinda like an egg.
yeah, they were bullets. So there's not really much.
I think it was like eggs, I guess, was on like a farm or a giant apple or something like that.
We had to get back in there and have a go. I did see him. I shot him. Yeah,
I'm curious to see
shot right at you.
Prepare.
There again.
Yeah, but
I was
obviously,
frozen there.
unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But yeah, interesting kind of if it had worked. And then we have Joust at the end here.
Closing out with our little trailer.
So thank you. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. See you guys later.
Peace.
Yourself.
Spirits fading, bringing on the dark time. Realms so fractured and so split. Four brave kingdoms, the only hope to resist.